Hey everybody, welcome back to Girl vs. Motorcycle. Liv Gritty. Today we're going to be installing some custom dynamics plasma rods. I always feel that since I got Gritty, I always feel like the bike was dark. I think maybe because Duchess have a lot of LED lights and it's very open, so she's very bright on the road. So I've been meaning to add some more lights to Gritty. So I got a couple things from Custom Dynamics. One is the plasma rods, which I will show you here. So what the plasma rods do is they are in addition to your brake lights. The brake lights on my bike there's just one unit, one pair of lights, and they operate run, turn, brake. So the plasma rods are capable and flexible enough for any bike situation. Run, turn, brake, just whatever. And the wiring for the Indian is a little different from some of the other bikes, but the guys at Custom Dynamics, I gave them a call. They straightened it all out. They're like, yeah, it's weird. It's Indian. But this is it. I'm like, sweet. Thanks for the help. So it should be pretty simple install. You got your plasma rods. You're also going to need the wiring adapter. And I also got these bag quick connect, a set of these. Mainly because these do attach to the saddlebags. And I want to be able, if they go in for service, for the service guys to be able to quickly take off the bags with no questions or anything like that, so we don't run into any issues of like my lights being ripped out or the wiring being compromised or anything like that. So we'll make it simple. Yeah, so should be easy install today. Cross your fingers. And so let's just take a look at the tools you will need for this project. Okay, here are the tools you would need for this project. It's really not many. Your ratchet, a 6mm hex for your saddlebags, torque wrench to reattach your saddlebags, 10mm nut driver, detach your battery, wire strippers, small ones, and a small set of dikes. Electrical tape comes in handy. For bonus points, wire tie mounts. Here, they stick, and you can put wire ties in them. Set of wire ties, small ones. Double bonus points. Some heat shrink tubing. 3 16-inch black will work well for this project. And a heat gun, preferably. Yes, you can use a hair dryer. You just have to be really careful with the settings and how far back you use it. Heat gets a little bit more up for that. But yeah, that's it. Let's get started. Okay, so I've already taken the seat off and disconnected the negative terminal. Easy peasy. Next thing you want to do, you want to remove your side covers. What I normally do with them is try to keep them out of the way. So I actually just tuck them under the bike. That way I'm not stepping on them when I'm doing anything. Once you take off your side covers, it is easier to pop up the side covers with the bag open. What you want to do is actually, and I've done this before where I've made the mistake of disconnecting my saddlebags and forgetting to disconnect the cable. So disconnect the wiring cables for your saddlebags. This is the one right here is on the right. And every quick connect lock, so you just usually just press of a button right here and you pull, wiggle, boom, disconnected. Done. Now we will do the left saddlebag. This one's a little tougher. But you got to pull the connection's a little different here. You have to pull this tab up and then pull it out and then boom, disconnected. Cool. Now you need to go get your 6mm socket to detach the saddlebags because that is the easiest way to do this. Okay, this part's pretty easy as well. You're just going to take off your saddlebags and 6mm socket, sure it's on lefty loosey. Here, I'm gonna undo these bolts, and hopefully somebody didn't over tighten them. Yep, that is lefty loosey. It's important of torque settings, guys. Now these filler pieces, these are filler pieces. They come off to put on the backrest, sissy bar, however you want to call it. Oh, ouch. that the wrong way. But they can stay in for this project. What I'll show you, what I'm going to tell you right now, it is a tight fit for these, but there's a perfect ledge to put these lights on. I kind of test fitted it yesterday. And what I like to do with the bolts, I like to put the bolts inside the saddlebag. But, so that's disconnected. I have towels on the floor so not to ruin the paint, so there you go. See that rubber gasket just fell? Keep an eye on those too. What I'll do is set them inside here on the ground so that I can see them. So be gentle. Don't scratch that paint. But there you go. In there. Or in there. Alright, go do the other side now. Okay, once your saddlebags are off, you can place your plasma rods. So, just so you know, this kind of translucent side is the side that faces out to traffic. So that's how you'll be able to tell which side is which. You have 3M types here. So, as I was test fitting yesterday, and I always encourage people to, when you get anything you order online, anything you order for your bike, whatever, if it's something electrical, try to test it before you install it. I did test these when I got them. That's how I found out about the wiring, which I'll get to. But I also kind of, while the bag was still on, test fitted it because you can see here you have this angle that faces out. And I thought, oh, maybe they can go here. But I'm also realizing they face too far out. So it may not give the effect that it wanted to. If you put it right on the edge of that, you'll get what you want out of it, but I will tell you it's tight with the little filler. Well, this is more the filler piece. This is part of it, but this is attached to the bike. It does fit, and this is soft, so it won't damage it. It does fit. You just have to make sure when you do it, try to get it to the edge of it as possible. I mean, 3M tapes here. You can literally get to the edge of the 3M tape on there, your double stick tape, and maybe the actual little rod sticks out over the edge a little bit, and then you'll get all your space. So that's what we're gonna do. So first things first, you're gonna get your rubbing alcohol to clean the space, clean that portion of it, so that you get the best adhesion. They gave us nice alcohol pads. I do always have a bottle of rubbing alcohol in the garage too for attaching things, because I'm gonna do this. Let that clean that off. You know, but I'm also going to do this, and you'll see why eventually if I get to it. All right. Booyah. So I'm gonna let that dry off for a second. I'm gonna go wipe down the other side, use the same cloth, you know, try to be efficient, not waste anything. Okay, that should have dried off. I'm actually gonna put this other plasma rod next to the other bag so I don't get confused. Because your wires also want to go at the top. One of the reasons I clean that with rubbing alcohol as well. So here's the tip. This is one of those little, you know, your Liv bonus tip for the day. I've stuck lights to bikes before, stuck a lot of stuff to bikes. I kind of stumbled upon this product. It is 3M Primer 94. See if I get it in here as well so you can see. Oh, nope, there it is. 3M Primer 94. What this does, it enhances the adhesion of your double stick tape. So, and they come in, sometimes you can find it in it looks like a nail polish bottle. I got an LED package from Joe Florida, and they include it, and it's in a bottle. Some other things I've gotten have come in the sticks. I found these sticks a while ago on Amazon. It's like a 10-pack, and I don't remember how much it is. And the way the stick works is you break it where the dot is, and then once you've done that, you kind of shake it. Now these are a little old, so I'm curious to see if they still work. Oh, you can see, and there's a sponge on the end of it. And you can see the sponge is soaking up right now, so it's probably still good. Also, open a door, make sure you're ventilated because this stuff will get you high. So what you want to do with it is basically rub it where you're gonna stick things to. So get a little swirly here. And no, this does not damage your paint. Anybody wondering about that? Does not. I've never had a paint problem with this stuff before. So yeah, you're gonna rub it on there, and then once you get it on, you actually, fun fact, need to let it dry. So we're gonna let that dry. Just they say a couple minutes. I give it maybe 4 or 5. So I'm gonna do the same thing I kind of did before. I'm gonna go use this while I still have it open on the other side. Whew. All right. So as I'm letting that dry, I went outside a little bit. Got a little dizzy. All right. So should be dry. Yep. All right. So he said we're gonna put the end of this right on the edge of this. So best recommended method is to peel this off slowly. Just want to see what direction I want to start in. It's easiest for me and my hands. Let's see, the top seems to matter more than anything. So what you kind of do is peel it back and just start a little bit at a time. Because then that also gives you a chance to place it a little better. I'm going to do that here. Oh Lord. To me, because I'm like, when it sticks, it sticks. We've committed. So make sure it's on that edge. And you can see it here. And yeah, it's like a pull tab. Just pull it gently so you don't break it too, because I just thought of that. I'm like, oh, what if I break this? That sucks. I gotta pull this back up to get the rest of it. But there you go. Boom. All right, make sure you press down on it. There you go. The bottom looks at a good even place to me. So does the top. There it goes. Ouch. What is... It's just hard when it's on the floor to close it, but... Feel good. It's a little covered by the bag. Let's see if I can actually stand this up and get a better look. And here, let's see, how far is it covered by said bag? Oh, not really much at all. It's very good. It's good. I like it. All right, cool. Now, the reason, and I'm one of these people when I adhere stuff, I just keep rubbing it. And this is like thick. Rubbing is not really doing anything. I'm just pressure. Just pressure. Feel like it's a good adhesion. Okay. So the reason I was cleaning more of the bike is because this wire's got to go to under the seat. And you can't just plug it in. You can't just stick it in there. I mean, I'm sure they have some clever way they think you're going to do it, but in all honesty, you're going to stick it on the outside. So what I'm going to do is, I have these tabs that I like to use. They're wire tie tabs. And I'm going to stick them strategically along here and zip tie this along the back. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same thing. I already alcohol wiped it, so I have to bust open another stick because the other one dried out like that. They are old. When they're newer, they seem to last a little longer, but whatever. I'll probably put 3 of them here and dress the cable. So I'll show you that shortly. Okay, all done. So you can see, got my little wire tie tabs all installed, and I've zip tied it along here and also to the cable, the saddlebag lock cable, the main cable. So what we are going to do next is actually remount our bags onto the bike. That'll make wiring a whole lot easier. Okay, once you kind of just place your saddlebags on loosely, put the bolts on, then you can check your placement on the bags. I think it looks good. So then you're gonna, once you kind of put them in loosely, now you're actually gonna torque them to the right settings. The saddlebag mounts for the Chieftain go in at, sorry, at 18 inch-pounds. Also make sure you have your copper hex socket with you. That's all. Torque setting 18 inch-pounds for this. $18 isn't a lot, so don't overdo it. All right, the fun part, wiring. Yay! Okay, wiring. So this is your harness adapter. And what this does is that this end plugs into your rear brake harness here. And then that's for the stock wires to your brake lights. And then this is how the plasma rods get wired in. So I'll go over that in a second. But I like to keep it there for, because the thing is, there's I'm not a lot of my own space in there, and I am adding some more stuff to the bike, so this will get interesting as we move along. But back to the bag quick connect. So my plan is to get this disconnect right next to the saddlebag disconnect. That way, anytime somebody's working on the bike, they go, oh, there's two plugs here from the bike, and they all go together. Now, fun fact, look at how long this is on both ends. On both ends. I mean, it all needs to go to there. And then this is the plasma rod wire. And it's already kind of long enough, isn't it? But like I said, it's easier for somebody to come in and do it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, in order to make sure that sits there, hey, there we go. I'm going to trim these wires probably till about here, so they meet. So there's the plasma wires, and then kind of, so they meet here. And I'm going to splice those together there. And then with this, I'm going to feed this through this end and make sure the bare wires end up here with enough slack, just in case I do need to move stuff around. So usually when I get to slacking about stuff, it'll come up, go around, and if I can drape it over the other side of the bike, that's kind of where I want my slack to end. Only because if I have to move it, I'm probably not going to move. The ends of anything are not going to be beyond there, and I'll have enough to work with. And I can always trim back later. So I'm going to trim these wires. And I'm also going to heat treat them because they don't need to be all loosey-goosey like this. The other thing you want to know is, and this may be specifically for Indian, the way we wire these to go run, turn, brake, we only have the two wires, so we only need the two wires. Their stock quick bag hook come with three, so they always what they say is if you're not using one, like we will not be using this blue wire, to cap it off somehow so you don't end up with a short somewhere in the line. So I'm probably, what I'm going to do is trim off the lead here, probably tape it up, and then fold it back, and then heat shrink it, put it under the heat shrink so then nothing can really get to it. I thought about just yanking out the cable with the pins are in here, but I don't have the proper pin pusher to do that. So I'm just going to leave it instead of causing any problems and stuff like that. So I'm going to go trim these wires and get some heat shrink on them. And then we'll get back and I'll show you how I'm going to butt spice them. Cool? Cool. Okay, so we got our connector all heat shrunk and stuff, so wires aren't all willy-nilly, and the blue wire is tucked away and taped off. So what they actually recommend, which I think is actually pretty cool because I don't see this a lot of packaging, is that they tell you to actually solder these together, and they provide heat shrink to keep it together. So what I actually done, and I actually got these recently, and I don't know if you've heard of them, got these things. These are, what do they call them? Solder seal wire connectors. So if you can see here, there is solder in the middle of this, and then this actually shrinks over it. So with just a heat gun, it'll melt the solder and shrink over it. So it's like 2 steps in one. And I've seen these for a while. We had them at work. I had not had a chance to use them yet. So I'm kind of excited to try them out. So I've got my wire strips. The only kind of thing you got to remember is you got to strip your sheathing back further enough so you can get this on and back far enough so that you can get your 2 wires together. So there's that. I probably could have done a little bit more. I want to see if I can cheat a little bit here. Because what's also hard is that you can't just hold your wires together. When I usually end up soldering wires like this, I twist them together. So if I can get at least some of a twist on it, I'll be happy, because then they'll stay together long enough for me to do it. Oops. I'm going to stand by a second. I'm going to strip this a little further back. I already got some extra heat shrink here so that when I'm done with it, I can just zip it back up. Stand by. Okay, that should help. Got a little bit more space on here, so I should be able to twist this. Oops. Maybe a little bit more to work with here. And I'm twisting it onto, it doesn't have to be perfect per se, just enough to hold it long enough to get this thing on here. There we go. So then you want to, hang on guys, do not come apart. Don't come apart, don't come apart, don't come apart. So when you line up your wires right on top of the solder, right there. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll try to zoom in editing. So I got that going. And I got my heat gun. I can see the solder melting. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I'm excited. It's so cool. So be aware too when you're using, like, this wire's a little thinner, so when you use the heat gun, keep an eye, you don't want the insulation to melt. But looks like it melted, so I'm gonna give it a tug. Oh, oops. I should have let it cool off longer. But I think actually it's still... Okay, what I advise is let it cool completely. The solder is really melted, so it looks like it's still in there, but I won't know till I test it. I'm not gonna lie. You know it ain't a video with me till I mess up something. So I'm gonna let that kind of sit there. I'm actually gonna let it cool off before I do the second one because they are right next to each other. So I'll come back in a moment. Okay, so the kicker is with that solder seal stuff, I was looking for it to melt all the way like I did here, and you really don't need to. So once it kind of shrunk, then you can, like I saw some solder leak, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I checked it, and it was good. So, first time is second time. Second time's better. This is actually still in good place. And they also say, look, it's flexible. So it's all good. So I did that and that. And the thing is, too, because it's solder seal and heat shrink, It's already waterproof and stuff, so I actually don't even need to cover this with another piece of heat shrink or anything like that. Now, part of me really wanted to, and now I think I should have, but the thing is, this is already melted. If I melted something on top of it, I run the risk of heating this too much where it'll actually open up, and we don't want that. So this is fine. This'll work. It'll be great. And oh yeah, and also obviously I had to take the bag back off to do it because this end was going to be so short that I wasn't able to do this on the bike, which is totally fine because then I got it cut to a proper size that I want to use it at. Okie dokie. So next steps is I'll get this done on the other bag and we'll get to wiring these up. Cool. Okay, so both bags back on. I got the connectors done, plugged them in. They're situated kind of where I want them, right next to the connectors for the actual saddlebags. Got our wires all there. Like, we are ready to plug some stuff in. So the fun part about the Indian ones is that when I first tested them, I followed the directions that came with the paperwork, which were for every scenario of Harley Davidson, like for run brake, turn brake, what am I leaving? Turn run, whatever combination of things. None of the color codes seemed to apply because they didn't quite work right. So pick up the phone. Hello, Custom Dynamics. I have an Indian. And it's a good thing I did because it's actually really, really weird. So I'm not even, I can't explain why, but this is what it is. So, okay, so the color code is your brown is your right, goes to your right turn signal, which would be this one, closest to me. I'm doing this in my head now. Okay, purple is left, and then this orange one, right, is gonna be your constant. So, and I'm gonna check because I wrote this down. I have a piece of paper with them. All right, get that right? Blah, 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 orange. So, yeah, right brown, right brown. So here's the kicker. Where probably in normal electrical thinking, you would think your blacks are common, so it will go to your ground wire. It doesn't. No, don't do it. You're gonna use your black wires on each wire is gonna go to your respective turn side. So, like this is my right, this is brown, so the black wire on my plasma wire is going to go to brown. Now, these guys have this cool thing called a positap. I haven't seen it before, and only seen it for custom dynamics, and I'm like, alright, so I'll give it a shot. What I'm going to do is unscrew this. Don't drop the screw, I'm in a really precarious place to be doing this. And again, this is my right, brown is right. So what you're going to do is, again, your black wire, you're going to, after you stripped it, of course, put that through the positap, like so, right? Put connect it there, just kind of get it close to it, and then screw it on, like so, and boom. Connected. Kind of amazing. So we'll do that for the left side, which is purple. I mean this here. Da, 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 da. Left your purple side. Nice and tight. Now the orange, I think they have it labeled as aux power. Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Now, both your reds are going to go to that. So, I do here, try to make my life easier. Don't want to lose that. I'll take my two reds, tie them together. Twist them together. So I strip them, every time I have to twist wires together like that, I usually strip them a little longer. Just so I can get a good grip on them. And I'll take my positap here for orange. And I did test this already, so I already know this works, even though it seems like it shouldn't. It really doesn't seem like it should. All right. This is sometimes when you feel you need one more hand just to hold that down. All right, that's in. Everything's tight. Cool. Now, your wiring harness. So, this is your rear light harness here. And if I remember when I tested this, this was a kind of a pain in the butt because it has rubber because it's a, oh crap, what's the name of it? I'm so bad sometimes with names. I need to have more Wheaties. But what it does, it keeps it watertight. Yeah, that's it. That's all I need. So you gotta pop that up. You can see it. And then, hey, and it makes that pop sound. See that rubber gasket? You'll see it on the little bag connectors too. And they almost fell off. So if you got those and you pull them apart, keep an eye on it. Make sure like straighten them out. So this is where stuff gets obvious, you guys. Like that into there. Plug this into here. Boom. Now you're ready to test. I'm not even going to clean this up right now. I just want to get this tested. So just make sure it's away from the battery. So I'm going to reconnect the battery and we're going to run a test. So exciting! All right, let's give it a test run now. And then so it's already running. Then, sorry, brake, yay. So, right, left, oops, and now hazards. Woo. And hold on, let me straddle this for a second and test. Yay. We have plasma rods. How exciting is that? So we're all done with this. I'm not necessarily going to button up the rest of the bike yet, which is basically just putting the seat on and the covers. Because I got another couple, well, actually I have one more set of custom dynamic products I'm going to stick on the bike. So that will be another video, as that's, I think, a little bit more labor intensive. So just stay tuned for that. That'll be coming soon. In the meantime, ride safe, you guys. Rubber side down.